Alrighty, let's see how this works. Just gonna look like a weirdo in here talking to myself. All right, so okay, bear with me. First little mic'd up session here. So let's walk you through. So today, this is my lower body, what I kind of deem more kind of athletic focused day, which just means touching on some different qualities that I might not hit if you're doing like a typical kind of hypertrophy bodybuilding style stuff, which is going to be more kind of power strength focused. We also got some elasticity in here today, and just kind of generally either maintaining or building on different kind of tolerances of, again, athletic qualities, which is going to be speed, acceleration, deceleration, getting into kind of funkier positions, et cetera, et cetera. So first thing I do as I walk in here is generally jump on a bike. This doesn't matter all that much. The reason why I start on a bike, honestly, because it's easy. I can just start pedaling. This is all kind of different mid-range motions. So even if your knees bugging you, shoulders bugging you, this generally doesn't bug you. And you'll see step 2 is going into a rower, which is going to be deeper joint angles, knee flexion, ankle dorsiflexion as well. So this is just a good way to just ease into the warm-up. And it's also a good way to just kind of zone out, clear my brain as I'm going through the warm-up and kind of get ready for this session physically, mentally, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to jump on this Echo bike here. I'm going to do about 4 minutes. And usually what I like to do is I'll just kind of switch off, just lower body, both lower, upper, put my feet on these pegs, get a little rotation from that thoracic spine, get those shoulder blades moving, humerus moving. And again, with warm-ups, goal for me, core temp, we talked about that, and then it's just start light exposure to different positions, and then we'll build on those exposures and kind of ramp up the intensity. So then when we get to some of the heavier work, the faster work and stuff like that, which could be a little bit more problematic from the injury side of things, if you don't warm up properly, that we feel good. But when I give advice on warm-ups, I kind of fuck around with stuff, you know? This is one of those topics that's interesting because you ask 15 different coaches, trainers, you'll get a bunch of different answers. Some people say, walk in, just start doing whatever exercise and just slowly warm it up. That's fine. I did that for years. There's other people, probably more specifically in the sports performance world, that'll give you a laundry list of a 15-stage warm-up, starting from soft tissue, dynamic, potentiation, this, that, this. And for them, it might be appropriate. So what I'd say is play around with it. And it's also okay to go in phases too. Sometimes during the year, it might be a little bit quicker. It's also depending on environment as well. When I work out at 24 Hour Fitness, it's not the same warm up as I do here where we have the turf and all these other things where I can jump around and not look like a weirdo. So again, have fun, play around with it. Try just to do nothing. Try doing the Phil Daru where he does, a million different kind of warm-ups, which again is going to be appropriate for his type of athletes that he trains. Mine's kind of an in-between there. So I don't spend 30 minutes on a warm-up, but I also don't just walk in the gym and start squatting either. So I'll take you through all that. All right, so now we're going on to the rower. So 4 minutes on the Echo bike. Now we're into 2 minutes here. The reason why I like this one, again, just deeper degrees of knee and ankle dorsiflexion here. So again, just light exposure to different positions. Echo bike, we get a little bit more of this rotation. In this one, we're going to stick more into this kind of sagittal plane, but just much, much deeper again with the knees and ankles. So, and I always joke that this is my ankle mobility here. So we drive the knee really, really far in front of the toes when we're doing row. So I honestly think that this could be used as a very, very good ankle mobility dorsiflexion drill. That's another thing for me, and again, don't get lost in the details here, but me nerding out as a trainer who's been doing this for 13 years, I do think about how we can kill numerous birds with one stone. So if I can warm up, get the core body temp up, and also work on some of these mobility deficiencies at the same time, why the fuck would I not do it? It just becomes a more efficient warm up and workout. So, like I said, this one really does help with the ankles. I really drive some good, positive kind of ankle mobility, dorsiflexion as I'm going through this. So, I'll be back once I get to my next step, which is going to be dynamic warm-ups. Alrighty. So now we did our kind of just general cyclical warm-ups to raise the core temp and whatnot. Now we're gonna get into some dynamic stuff. So this is my lower body focus day. So how I break this up is just essentially going through the functions of the hip. So first exercise I call this, or warm up, whatever you want to call it, is a hip flexor hamstring flow. So all I'm doing here, half kneeling position. I do like to hold on something just for stability. And then all we're doing is kind of pushing forward. Goal here, this back leg, is to get a little bit more hip extension. So you should feel a little stretch kind of in the front side, hip flexor to knee. I'll hold that for maybe a 3 to 5 count. And then I'm going to shift back, focus on the front leg hamstring. Okay, and we're just gonna flow through these, okay? So hip flexor, shift back to hamstring. Hip flexor, shift back to hamstring, okay? And you can do these for reps, you can do these for time, you can do these just for feel. It doesn't matter. And I just started with a new client a couple weeks ago, and I was explaining, like, there's no wrong and right with some of this warm-up stuff because it is very dependent on kind of feel. Now, yeah, you might be able to pull some quantitative data based on, oh, I did this warm-up and this is how I felt or this is how I performed, but there's too many variables there. So just do how you feel. Again, sometimes I might do double the reps, 15, 20 if I'm feeling extra stiff. Other days it might be like 3 or 5, or maybe I'll skip some of this stuff. But right now, again, we're breaking our hips down into flexion extension, so the sagittal plane. Doing some for a few. I'll get back to my next warm-up. All right, next one coming up. Now we're gonna go hip rotation component. So again, when I was breaking down the hip movement, so we got this flexion extension. So I wanna get some warm-up here, see if we can open up a little bit of degrees of freedom there, a little bit of range of motion. Now we're gonna go on to rotation, then we have abduction, adduction. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of different variations of this 90-90 hip rotation. I start it more like a stretch, then I go into a flow. So I'm trying to go in chest towards this outer, the knee that the outside's on the floor, the inside, and exploring, okay? Heels, same position, pivot. Again, explore. Pivot, gonna explore. Again, just opening up a little bit of ER, IR, hip external rotation and internal rotation. Same thing. I probably end up doing like 5 each side here, but again, reps, time, feel doesn't really matter. Try not to overthink these warm-ups. And another thing too is, please don't take this specific movement as gospel or anything like that. This is one of 9,000 different ways to elicit the outcome we're looking for, which again is just kind of opening up the hips, getting a little bit more end range in there. So you go up to 10 different coaches, you might get 10 different exercises or stretches they like for hip, ER, and IR. This is just one of them. So this is the first step. And then I go here, open this bad boy up. Bet you like that view, don't you? And then we're just kind of dipping the knee down. I'm sure you've seen people do it like this. Nothing wrong with that, but you just get a lot of pelvis kind of anterior rotation here. So I'm just trying to strictly go from the hip, okay? So I'm not trying to rotate the pelvis at all. Dipping the knee, coming back up, dipping the knee, coming back up. Cool. Do a few more of these, and then we're gonna get to the abduction, adduction of the hips. All right, so first move. Half kneeling again, we're gonna shoot this knee out, kind of Captain Morgan-ish, and then we're going left, right, so laterally. So I'm gonna start with this one. And again, this is more just to open up the hip. A few of those. And then I kick the leg out, and now we're going into an adductor rock. Sitting back towards the heel, walking forward. Sitting back towards the heel, rocking forward. Other side, same. All right, cool. All right, so here's how I like to kind of bring it all together. This is going to be inchworm to T-spine rotation. So set up however you want. I usually start wide and then I'll go narrow each kind of rep, or I'll narrow it up. So inchworm down, get a nice good stretch on those hammies. Let's walk it out to a push-up position. Let's kick the leg forward. Then we're going to rotate towards that leg. Cool. Other side, rotate towards. Okay. And then we're going to continue that inchworm. So lock those knees out. Inch up, get a good stretch, get some big toe extension. Walk it back down. Sorry if that mic is fucked up. Alrighty. Okay. All right. So next one for warm up, I just go through this ankle series. I stole this when I did a group workout with Compound Performance, and it's just a series of basically heel walks. You get these about 5 to 10 yards. You can walk back, heel. Okay. The next one coming up, you're just going to walk on the outsides of your foot. Okay. And this stuff is, I would say, just kind of general tissue quality and just tolerance to ankles. These have given me some issues in the past with the running, so I make sure to just add these in. And then the last one you're going to go through is what I do is I start just high on my toes, do that for about 5 yards, and then I'll do about 5 yards where I go kind of heel to toe, 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 heel to toe. And again, about 3 each of those. Heel walks, outside of foot walk, and then toe walks. I will be back once I finish these. All right, next up, we got some light hops, extensive pogos. Same thing, go about 10 yards, you'll see. And again, this is another one where it's like, dude, I start kind of bilateral, so both feet, and then I'll slowly get closer to 1 foot. So hands on the hips. I'm just going forward. And I'll go in and out with the feet. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And then swallow them side to side, side to side, side to side. And then just kind of have fun with it. Doesn't matter. Again, just light warm up for the ankles. I'm gonna walk it back, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing going backwards. All right, so backwards. Starting both feet. Just nice quick hops. Boom, boom, boom. In and out. Side to side. And have fun, flow with it. Okay, so then after that, I'm gonna go staggered. So again, I think bilateral, then this kind of 1.5 footed to one leg, just warming up the ankles. So, staggered stance, same thing, hands on hips, just on the ankles. Just going forward, in, out, in, out. Okay, side to side, in, out, side to side. Okay, same exact thing on the other side. Other staggered position, hopping. Happy, happy, happy. In, out, side to side. Okay, hit it backwards real quick. All right, and then the last thing, we're just gonna do a little bit of single leg, kind of same shit. All right, single leg. Happy, happy, happy. Side to side, side to side. Boom, swap. And then same thing backwards. So again, I just go 5 on these ones, 5 yards, then swap feet. All right, coming backwards, starting with right leg. Happy, happy. Hop, 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 side to side. Hop, 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 side to side. Good, swap. Side to side. Side to side. Happy, happy, happy. Sweet. Okay. So that's all kind of warm-up shit done. I got 22 minutes, but normally I'm able to crank this out in like 15. Obviously I'm filming here, so let's go on to the first A1, A2, which is gonna be progressive pogo hops and a hip exercise of choice. And I'll kind of walk you through and explain how I do this. All right, so first A1, A2. I count this as kind of working sets, but you'll kind of see it's still not super duper intense here, but these are good kind of qualities that I want to at least kind of maintain. So, and that's going to be, A1 is going to be a progressive pogo hop, and A2 is a kind of hip exercise of choice. And I'll walk you through kind of what I'm doing currently and how I change this up. So, progressive pogo hops. What we're going to do here, I'm going to start hands on the waist again. And essentially it's exactly as it sounds. We're going to start very quick ground contact time, and then we're just going to put more and more and more. Slow it back down, slow it back down. A little dribble action on the ankles and relax. So that's literally it. So you're just kind of ramping these up. And again, this is just like I was explaining in the beginning, we want to kind of ramp up intensity so we can have that exposure that's graded, so we're ready when we get to like the kind of meat and potatoes of the stuff. But this is also good, just kind of maintaining tissue quality again on the ankles. I'm doing a lot of endurance running right now, so I'm not getting super high intensity stuff on the ankles. So this is a way to just keep, again, good tissue quality. So if I do a sprint or something like that, I'm not going to fuck up my ankles. All right, so here's the hip exercise of choice. All right, so for this training block, I'm doing hip cars paired with these ones. So I'm probably butchering the shit out of them. And if any FRC person is watching, I apologize. But kind of what I've been doing lately is mixed in with some of these pogos kind of while I'm resting and stuff, I'll just choose some sort of hip loaded progressive hip mobility exercise of choice. So this training block, I'm working hip cars, but last one, I was doing loaded internal and external rotation. So I'll basically just kind of go through all the different functions of the hip. I'll have one training block where it's more flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and then maybe I'll work rotation. So anyway, let's get to this one. We're just gonna do 3 in total. And this one, we want to drive some good intent here. So all I'm thinking about is basically making the biggest circles I can with my hip. So driving up here, and then kind of start internally rotating, reaching, going back, coming back down, and we're going in reverse, okay? And again, sorry FRC people if I'm butchering this, but honestly, I don't really give a shit. Okay, I'm just gonna do 3 in total on both sides. Okay, same exact thing on the other side. Locking myself in. Big ass fucking circle. My hips fucking suck. All right, so it's 1 down. I'm gonna go 3 in total for this one here. And I just kind of go back and forth, back and forth. All right, so A's are done. Got my warm up, did my A set, and I'll put all this stuff on the screen somewhere too, so you guys can see. So now we have cleans of choice. So right now I'm mainly just focusing on power cleans. And this is another just kind of force production exercise and just something I'm curious about getting better at. Again, another a lot of debate on if we need to do Olympic lifts. I don't think you need to do anything, but I think they do have benefit and stuff, and I think they're just kind of a fucking cool move, and they make things kind of fun and interesting. So for this training block, I'm fucking around with cluster sets, so I'll explain that in just a little bit, but I'm just gonna kind of warm up here at the bar. The good news, since I did all the other stuff, I'm pretty warm, so I don't need to do much. All right, I have no idea if my mic was on for the first one, so I'll just kind of repeat. So this is my second set of clusters. So I'm just kind of fucking around with this training block, and this is the biggest thing I try to tell, any individual clients, etc. is there's so much debate in the fitness world of like, what is the best? It doesn't matter if it's a loading parameter, 5x5, 8x3, whatever. There's so much debate. And I just never understood it because we're not married to one. It's like you're gonna do so many different training blocks for the year. So have some fun with it. And especially for 99.9% of us out there, where it's like our job and livelihood doesn't rely on having the most perfect training program. It's like, have fun. So, which is why I'm kind of fucking around with cluster sets right now. This is not something I've fucked around with too much, so I want to do them with the Olympic lift. So essentially what I'm doing here and what you do with clusters is you kind of break up. So say it's a set of 5, or let's just use a set of 6 because that's what I'm doing. So instead of just going straight 6 power cleans like I'm doing today, you're breaking it up to 2 and then a micro rest, 2 micro rest, 2 micro rest. And the thought process here is that we're taking a short period of rest to where it's not gonna make the workout much longer. And in fact, it's going to produce a higher quality of stimulus and reps because you get these little micro breaks in between them. So again, quality, intent, and just overall kind of speed of the lift can stay super duper high. So you'll kind of see what I do here. So it's 2 20-second rest, 2 20-second rest, 2, and that will be a cluster. So here's my second set of these, and we're doing 3 total working sets. All right, let's fucking do it. There's 2, so now I'm gonna go 20 seconds on the rest. Again, micro rest. All right, we got number 2. One more 20-second rest. All right, last set of 2 here. All right, so there's set number 2. I have one more, exact same thing. So I'm gonna take about 3 minutes rest between these clusters and then one more final set here and then we'll move on. All right, last set here, same exact thing, 2x2x2, 20-second rest between clusters. High intent, move this weight fast, boys. Seconds. Plus 2. Seconds, one more. All right, last set 2 here. Last rep, come on, this one count. All right. So as I'm resting, I'll kind of explain what we're doing next here. And we're doing the elusive shoe change, of course. If you don't bring 19 pairs of shoes with you to the gym, are you even serious about your training? But no, we're going back in the flats here. All right, so let's do a little mid-workout breakdown here. So warm-ups, hit kind of pogos. So I touched on obviously general warm up and just some good ankle elasticity, and then some good kind of hip mobility and strength. Then we got our cleans in, which is, if you've heard people talk about surfing this force velocity curve, I swear to God, us trainers, strength coaches, or whatever, just use certain terminology to try to sound smarter or whatever, because we all lack confidence in the fact that we feel we just count reps for a living. But anyway, essentially that is, we got high intent, we're moving things quick. And then the heavier that thing is, the more force, the lighter, the more velocity, okay? So I just say move shit fast, move light shit fast, move medium shit fast, move heavy shit fast. And that's what I try to do in this specific training session. And that's why I call it a more athletic base. So this clean stuff, we touch on a lot of qualities, but I'm gonna call that my medium, all right? So medium low, that was only 185 pounds, so nothing super duper heavy, but moving it super high intent, as high velocity as I can, all right? So, and now we're gonna go into a more force focus, but we're gonna pair that with a more velocity. So this is gonna be a staggered stance, essentially staggered stance hex bar deadlift. So this training session, I try to go more kind of hip hinge. I was doing a lot of bilateral hinging, so deadlifts and stuff like that. So I just chose this. Again, it's like, don't get too concerned about the specific exercise, because we're gonna cycle through that, all right? So play around with it, have fun. This is new for me. So you'll see as I do these, this is a staggered stance hex bar deadlift where I'm swapping legs each time. And then I'm going to pair it with an assisted or technically over speed split squat alternating jump. So it's the same movement pattern, but just unloaded. So again, force paired with velocity, okay? So check it out. Done. Take about 30. All right, warm-up set felt pretty good, so I'm gonna load another plate on here. And again, the goal with these is to get pretty fucking heavy. We don't want this one moving super duper fast. I was dealing with some knee stuff. I went for a run like a week and a half ago and have some weird knee things. So I'm gonna kind of scale down the intensity of the load just a little bit here. So hopefully this feels all good. But let's go on to set number 2. So 225 on the staggered stance, and then same exact thing on the split squat jumps. All right, let's fucking go. Scooch us back a little bit. That felt good. And in case anyone's wondering, I am purposely not controlling the eccentric. I'm trying to reduce the eccentric load, and that's just a fatigue management, because the main kind of focus on this exercise here is just force production. So I'm purposely not controlling the eccentric, which is totally fine if that is the goal, and that's what I'm doing. And again, I'm not married to that. A lot of times, most of the time I do control the eccentric, but for this training block, for this exercise, I am not, okay? All right, here we go. Same thing on these ones. Hike up a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna take 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna load up 275 on this guy. That felt good. All right. Here's, I guess, set 3, but this is second kind of working set. Everything's feeling good. Like I said, I was dealing with some knee stuff, so I just wanted to take it nice and light on those first 2. If this feels good, I'm gonna do 2 sets here, and then we'll move on. But same exact thing, sticking with 3 3 each alternating on the jumps. All right, here we go. Sweet, 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 sweet. 30 seconds. Let's fly. Sweet. Sweet. All right, last set here. Same. All right, let's fucking get it. God damn it. This is how you gotta ruin my content?
My bad, dude.
You're good, man. All right. All right, 30 seconds. It's all right. Gotta get higher, man. Gotta say it all. All right, here we go. Let's see these motherfuckers. All right, done with those. Now we just got some accessory work to close it out. All right, so now we got some accessory stuff. So accessory stuff onto the Ds now. So these ones are also, I am prepping for High Rocks Vegas in February. So I'm trying to do some moves that are kind of specific to that as well too, but I still think you can put them in this accessory bucket. So what I'm gonna do for this one, which I need to change this when I get home, I'm gonna go walking lunge 25 yard, and then trying to not put down the kettlebells, I'm gonna go right into a 50-yard farmer's carry, and then I'm gonna finish up with a slider hamstring curl just so I can get some knee, some loaded knee flexion in there. So let's see how this shit goes.
Chase is gay.
Tell them something they don't already know, man. Felt good, so I'm gonna upgrade those kettlebells. Each set I'm gonna go a little heavier. Like I said, I was having some knee stuff, so last week I just did bodyweight lunges, but that felt really, really good. I think those are 30-ish each, so I'll go up to the, I think those are 16 kg. I'm gonna go up to 24 kg, so 53-ish pounds, and then on the last one I'll go up to the 70 and some change or whatever. That's the working weight for the high rocks farmer's carries. All right, see you in a bit. All right, set 2, going up to 24 kg kettlebells in each hand. Everything else will be pretty much the same. All right, let's see if it goes far. All right. Yeah, same thing. Walking lunges, 25 yards, 50 yards. Promise. Shit, fuck. Okay. All right. Sweet. Now on to them hammock curls. Set 2 done. Fucking shitballs. All right. All right, I'm gonna take 2 minutes, and I got one more of those, and then I'm gonna kind of see. That will probably be it for me for today. So normally on this one, I actually finish with more of like Metcon-ish thing to prep for the high rocks thing, but because of the knee, I've eliminated running for the next like week or two. Well, I'm just gonna go super duper slow, so I take that out. But normally I do my strength work, and at the end, I'll like pair this. So it'll be like walking lunges mixed in with running or rowing or something like that to just keep focusing on compromised running and high heart rate running. So that's been the hardest thing, is like with the high rocks coming up, as I was explaining to people, I'm like, you're fucking jumping on the treadmill or going for your running, like starting at 170 plus beats per minute. So that's the weird thing, is like your run is your recovery, which seems kind of contradictory, but that just means you really need to focus on that kind of running endurance and stuff like that. But you don't want to compromise strength either. So that's why I kind of wanted to do this too, because from a coaching perspective, it's kind of fun playing around with these different variables of like, okay, well, if you're super strong, that makes the walking lunges and the heavy sled pushes and things like that easier. But also, if you're sacrificing like endurance or running economy and things like that, you're probably going to get crushed. So it's just good mix of like strong enough, then really pushing on running economy and endurance and stuff like that too. So anyway, one more round and then we'll wrap it up for today. All right, last set of these. I'm gonna do the same 25 yards on walking lunges, but I'm gonna go 75 on the last farmer's carry, so I finish here, and then 20 on the hamstring curls. All right, last set. Yes, here we go. See? Who said all that? Waiting as a kid, and yesterday doesn't come handy. I might be blind, but I got a strong grip. All right, one of those. 20 hand curls, and then we'll get the full guy. Ah. Shut up. All right, it's done. That took forever with this filming, but that's okay. That's okay, that's okay. All right. That's dust. Okay, so while I'm chilling, let's do a recap here. Okay, so warm up, 4-minute bike, 2-minute row, with dynamic stretches, ankle series, and then those kind of light extensive plyos. Then we went into the progressive pogo hops with that hip exercise, those hip cars, 3 rounds of that, 3 each. Then I worked on some cleans, some good force production there, kind of in the middle. of that force velocity curve. Did 4 warm-ups, and then I did 3 of the working clusters at 185. So 185 pounds, 2 reps, 20 seconds, 2 reps, 20 seconds, 2 reps, 6 in total. 3 total working sets. That was about 2.5, 3 minute rest between. Then my C series, this is more on the 4 side, a little bit heavier in this kind of staggered stance. So that bar was not moving super fast, but it was that hex bar alternating staggered stance deadlifts. And that was paired with those alternating split squat jumps, like overspeed or assisted. I was doing them more for assisted today, actually, because of my knee. Overspeed, it's kind of debatable on what it does. But anyway, so yeah, so that was mine. I did 4 total sets of that one, progressively loading up the weight. Last 2 working sets were at 275. And then I finish off here, walking lunges into a farmer's carry, into hamstring curls, 3 sets of that one. And then, like I said, once the knee starts feeling really, really good, I'm gonna start throwing more of this high rock stuff in there. I still have some time, so I'm still like, for the next probably 6, maybe 8 weeks, I still wanna try to raise the ceiling of strength, essentially, before I go full kind of work capacity and volume. So, like I said, through probably, I don't know, most of December, I'm still gonna try to maintain a lot of the adaptations for high rocks, and I've been doing high rocks workouts for the last a couple months because I knew I was gonna do this. So maintain running economy, all this different stuff. But let's see if I can get just generally stronger. And then probably 8 weeks of this kind of prep where I'm really going hard on the work capacity. I'm getting a lot more specific. Those are gonna suck. That's the only thing with high rocks. Like, I actually feel like I'm in great conditioning right now, great condition just overall, but the workouts, they just crush you, which has been fun some of the days, being in a pool of your own blood, sweat, maybe semen, I don't know. But they're also fucking brutal too. And it's given me that perspective of like, if clients feel like this after workouts, they're not gonna keep showing up unless they're fucking psychopaths, which they're probably not, because if they were, they would be already on the Goggins shit. So we need to make sure that this is sustainable. So I don't know if I'll continue doing the high rock stuff or do some modified, but anyway, I'm having fun with it right now. Some of the times, most of the time. So yeah, so let me know what you think. This is my first kind of full mic'd up workout thing. Have no idea how it's gonna turn out. I think I fucked up the mic a couple different times and stuff like that. And ideally, I want to interject more of this kind of, again, I want this to be learning, I want this to be digestible, but I also want this to be kind of fun as well too. So I think as I get more comfortable with this, it will get better and better. So for all 3.5 of you that watch this, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions below. Let me know what else you would like to see, any other training days. Because right now, specifically, goals are, this is what I like to say, is capable, man. Like, my training history has probably been, honestly, like probably 85, 90% hypertrophy work, which is, you might be like, what, you're not the biggest person. I know, I'm aware of that. But my first love was bodybuilding. I dove head first in bodybuilding. I fucking love it. That was ideally actually what I wanted to do when I first got into this. But unfortunately, genetics aren't the best for that, but that's okay. So anyway, I prepped for my first, I did a sprint triathlon 2.5 years ago, and that just shed some light on all these other qualities that I've just lost. So although I look pretty good and whatnot, I felt like shit running, jumping. I used to be able to jump really, really high and stuff. And since, to be honest, the amount of strength and muscle mass that I'm able to accrue now is very, very minuscule, to the point where it's almost like not worthwhile having that be my main priority. So now I'm kind of switching to, all right, how can I maintain my hypertrophy for one, my muscle mass, but also gain these other qualities, be able to jump super high. I would like to be able to fucking dunk. I never accomplished that. I got very, very close in my early 20s, and be able to sprint and be able to fucking feel good and not ache and all this stuff and be able to move. And I've been doing a really good job. I really don't feel like I've sacrificed too much muscle mass overall. My strength is really good, but I also have all these other training qualities like elasticity, power, velocity, acceleration, deceleration, and stuff like that. Again, while maintaining still this look, because I do want to look the part. Like, I don't like when people are like, this shouldn't be vanity. Fuck that, dude. If you want to look, I want to look like I fucking lift as well too. But I also want to be able to do cool shit with my body. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like, I want to enjoy myself and I just want to be overall capable. So like on Monday, if I go through my whole training week, it's mainly hypertrophy, dude. I do a lot of machines and stuff like that. The goal there is to get a great hypertrophy stimulus while also limiting fatigue. And that's why free weights are good. So that's when I go to the 24-hour fitness by my house. I start out with a general horizontal pushing strength exercise, because my strength is always a limiting factor, especially on pushing, and then it's all hypertrophy shit. And then Tuesday, this is where I go into this more of like athletic functional stuff. Again, power, strength, force production, jumping, sprinting, etc. I want to try to touch on these qualities, tap these boxes. Wednesday, Zone 2, very low intensity, trying to limit, Jesus Christ. It'll come to me, but limiting fatigue as much as I possibly can on that one. So generally I do the bike for about an hour, just nice and slow. Again, the goal here, not accumulating fatigue, but see if we can get some sort of endurance stimulation there. Thursday, I go into AM session is usually some sort of threshold or intervals running. And then Thursday, like PM session is a upper pull day, a little bit of strength, mainly hypertrophy. Again, I want to lift apart. Friday, right now, it's kind of this mix of upper and lower push. So mainly meaning squat focus, quad focus, lower body. And then we have a good amount of overhead pressing and some horizontal pressing on that one. And then I also do some sort of high rock simulation workout. Saturday right now, total off day. And then Sunday is a longer endurance. Same thing, low intensity though. That's when I try to do like an hour to hour and a half run. So if any of you are looking forward to that or want me to break that down a little bit more, just let me know below because I can go through my whole training week, my whole program, all that stuff. I don't mind doing that. So, all right, cool. Let's see how it goes.